Yo, when did you guys, because when I think of you guys, you are so synonymous with some of my favorite movies of all time. Do the Right Thing's up there. Obviously, you guys did the He Got Game soundtrack, which I remember buying used from the warehouse. Great album. When did you guys?
That's an underrated album.
Oh, for sure.
Because I got ball bars in there that cats still can't.
Shout out to Ray Allen, man.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But what was your guys' initial, I guess, the genesis of you and Spike Lee's relationship?
Renaissance people at the time, where he was creating film, we were creating music. Other people were creating other different things, and all in New York City at the time. So we were kind of like brought together by Bill Stepney, and you know, in 1989, and really at the end of 1988, he just finished putting together School Days. And School Days, he took go-go music with the EU and had that highlighted, and Kadeem Hardison, you know, wore the Public Enemy sweatshirt in it, and it was about college and something that we and I was familiar with a lot, you know, fraternities and stuff like that. I mean, you say fraternities and sororities across white America, they don't know what the hell we talk about. But the black life was a whole different universe in there. And we were familiar with that. We used to fight sororities, fraternities too. As well as play music for them. So that was a whole nother universe that he tapped in. And he said the next thing he was tapped in on the unrest that was going on, inequality that was going on in New York City at the time. So when we had a meeting in 88 and right before we was going on tour in Europe with Run DMC, Spike said, I'm putting together this thing with all the stuff that's going on, this inequity going on in New York City. And strangely enough, that movie was spearheaded by the continuity and the connection that black radio did for the city. That's why you see Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, man, Samuel L. Jackson killed
He's the
it.
one that ties the whole thing together.
The whole movie, the whole time, yeah.
And so Spike said he needed an anthem, and the original thing he wanted us to do was a hip-hop version of Lift Every Voice and Sing that was quickly rejected. And the Fight the Power became the thing that came out of that. But who knew Spike was going to put that song in the movie like 15 times?
It was, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a character in the movie.
Yeah,
like
it is unprecedented, and Spike helped make that what it was. And a lot of things on making it, and sonically, it was a compromising record. It wasn't punk,
right?
It was like, okay, you know, this is the music that gets you bumping. I mean, certain things set it off. I mean, you see Rosie, you know, Perez at the beginning, she boxing and dancing. I mean, first time you see a real dance element connected to Public Enemy, who's more about fighting you, knocking the head off your shoulder than dancing. And
right.
So there's a lot of things that Spike brought to Fight the Power that a lot of people don't give him credit for.
Every time I watch Do the Right Thing, I'm always like, why didn't Spike act more? He's so good in this movie. Like I feel like that might be. Is that the only movie? Like he didn't really do a lot of acting. Like,
I mean, Spike don't get credit. For example, man, Air Jordans doesn't take off. I mean, Jordan doesn't have no personality
without them commercials.
Unless he doesn't have no personality unless Spike Lee gave
those commercials brought some. I mean,
because all Nike was just like Nike. Matter of fact, Nike was less hipper than Adidas because Adidas had Run DMC.
Run DMC, yeah, for sure.
You know, Nike was like, okay, you know, you running track. You know, a couple of people playing ball with it. Spike not only brought hip hop into it, he brought Brooklyn into it.
So I'm from Phoenix.
Yep.
Your guys' song, By the Time I Get to Arizona, was a record that was. It was almost like, damn, we're only known, and we don't have any rappers. We're only known because we were the last state to have MLK Day. And fucking Public Enemy made a song about us, essentially.
Yeah, right. That was a trip too. And when we played with U2 in Sun Devil Stadium, that went across like, oh my goodness, we played just that song,
right?
And then we didn't play the rest of our set. We protested the rest. So that made that. But we wasn't doing things.
I didn't know that happened. So you guys.
Yeah, we played Sun Devil.
And only did that one song, and then.
Yeah. Wow. And there were like 85,000 people up in there. And we threw the fist in the air.
Did you get the back end?
Not only did we put our fist in the air, right, Pop? We hung the Klansmen that night.
I think so.
Yeah, we hung the Klansmen that night. Every show that we did. we hung a Klansman at the end of it.
That's fucking amazing.
It was. Yeah,
Can we? I mean, see, that's the kind of shit we need. Like, I want to see that shit in.
But listen, you have a more I would say, homogenized USA where all the kids are in the same melting pot, but if
That's a fair
everybody's
point.
afraid to say something.
Because they might piss their homie off, their homie's parents, or or
No,
everybody.
Everybody's a screenager, so they're getting their ethics through the phone anyway. But they all are like-minded through the same screens anyway. So you find people that they're like-minded and they knock the visual differences off to the side, which is cool. What's not cool is that people are learning less about each other's background because there's a lot of dirt in the background on everybody. So they say, we want to teach nothing. We'll start over the 21st century and go forward. And that ain't cool either because everything is institutionalized in the history of what made it in the first place. So you got to teach history. You got to teach geography. And geography is like, okay, you was in Phoenix, you wasn't in Tempe, and you was in Phoenix, you wasn't in Tucson, and some people couldn't connect
Right.
Tucson. Well, where you at? You're in Arizona, so where's that?
Right.
You're like, what?
Right.
You don't know. It's still the United States, the lower 48. But so United States, I call them USAers because it's North America, Central America, South America, and Caribbean. They don't even know where they live. They only know exactly where they might be, but they don't know where they live. And the more that we learn about the history of the country, the history of how we all got here as human beings, the history of who've had it before, that they're trying to say, oh yeah, we're going to figure out how to call up ICE and deport you on a region of land where indigenously you already had some sense of home about the North, South, Central America. It's just weird in 2025 when it comes down to educating the masses, to educate artists, to try to say something. Like, where do you start?
Well, I feel like too that was what was so great about you guys was you were like able to like learn about things that you might you know you listen to Public Enemy, you're gonna take something. If you're in your bubble, you're gonna be forced to step out of your bubble and retain some information.
That goes along with the songwriter too. I did more listening and reading than I did talking.
Like I remember listening to Immortal Technique as a kid and learning about all kind of crazy shit about like the CIA and all
Right.
fuck, like crazy. Like I mean, I think a lot of people like obviously generic, people who weren't, necessarily like astute, but a lot of people got introduced to the nation through you guys too. You know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, popular culture is a great gateway,
Right.
for the good, bad, and ugly too.